Hello, everybody. Zach here. Welcome back to Zach Talks. This is episode 3. Today is February 27th. You're listening to this on SoundCloud. You can also watch it on YouTube. If you're watching this on YouTube, you can see me. That's the short story of it. I did 2 episodes so far. The first episode I talked about the Nintendo Switch for a little bit, and then I also talked about my most anticipated titles in 2017. Today, I'm going to talk to you about video games because I think that's what the most common shared interest of the viewership or listeners to this, understandably, because my channel is primarily about video games. I'm most excited, and we're going to talk about a few different things in this episode. The Switch is right around the corner here, going into March. I'm still excited for it, and I'm probably not going to pick it up day one. And that's kind of what I talked about even in that first episode where I talked about the Switch. I'm going to pick it up when it feels right, kind of thing. I'm going to pick it up, prior to traveling. I feel like it would make a really good traveling companion. And I think that it doesn't have any launch titles other than Zelda, obviously, that really have my interest. There are a few things, obviously, that Nintendo does well, and it's their games. No doubt. It's 100% their games. But there's not enough at launch for me to want to pick it up at launch or to have put in a pre-order. So that's the Switch. Have we learned that much since that other video came out? No, not too much. Nintendo's platform is launching, and we're going to actually have like online functionality, but Virtual Console I don't think is going to be there at launch, which is another thing that's weird. And there haven't been any other titles that have been like snuck in, at least as of now. So we're coming up with only a few different launch games. Nothing crazy to me. And then there's a lot of stuff that's still up in the air, which is weird. I thought Nintendo would have everything kind of ironed out right up to the launch, but I guess not. And that's unfortunate for them because I feel like I haven't seen that much, at least in my circle of people, excited about the Switch like other consoles. I mean, even I was excited about the Xbox One. I never bought an Xbox One. Still don't have an Xbox One. So you can take that and say that I'm a Sony fanboy because I have a PS4 and I primarily play on the PC. You could say I'm a Sony or a PC fanboy, but I'm not. I'm not either of them. The Xbox just didn't offer me anything either with its online gaming infrastructure or any of its offerings. They weren't there to me. I waited a long time because I knew certain titles were going to come to the Xbox. Then they also came to Windows. So they got rid of they essentially got rid of the reason to buy an Xbox, for me at least. So I stuck with PlayStation. And Nintendo, and I'm not saying Sony's perfect. They're not. We still can't change our names. There's still there's still problems every once in a while with PlayStation Network. That just doesn't make sense considering how long Sony has had to fix it and fix those issues. So I'm not going to knock Nintendo, that hard. That I'm not going to knock them when Sony and even Microsoft can't figure out certain things and how to do them properly. The industry is ever evolving. We're now way more into digital media than we are physical media. I mean, and you can look at that in the PC realm with Steam and some other things that people are just downloading games way more than they are purchasing them physically. So that was a weird thing too with the Switch. People showed the boxes for what the games are going to come in, and it's really odd that we're still using essentially an entire case, what would be the size of a Blu-ray case or around that, and then you have the small card in there. It's really strange. I don't know why they did that. Other than to take up the shelf space. I used to work in retail. It makes sense if you want to take up the shelf space. Other than that, I have no why you couldn't do it in the same case size as 3DS or what have you. Other than the perception that then it's just a portable console as opposed to it being a home console as well as a portable console. People see that small case, they assume it's 3DS or the smaller, PS Vita cases I think were smaller too, and PSP. So like I understand that from a marketing perspective, but I don't. The waste is not necessary. Hey, we'll see though. I could be completely wrong. I think Nintendo will still sell these. I don't think it'll be As much as I mean, they sold a lot of Wii U's, but nowhere near what they sold Wii. And I'm hoping, for Nintendo's sake, that the Switch is successful long term, because I don't think its initial sales will be anything amazing. I feel like it's going to be difficult, and I'm hoping that this. I think I made some comments on it in my last video, but if I didn't, I'll make them here. I hope Sony and Microsoft take Nintendo seriously, even if the sales of this unit are not directly competing with the PS4 and the Xbox One. I hope both of them take it seriously. Microsoft has not made a portable. Sony still has the PS Vita with very, they support it every once in a while. I'm hoping that it gets Sony to rethink and either support the PS Vita again or announce a new version of the Vita or something along those lines. I know you can't take the power, and that's the point with the Switch. It's completely different. It's not just they didn't just take what the equivalent would be the PS4 or Xbox One made into a portable, and that is obviously not going to happen. The Switch has good graphics for what it is, but it's not graphics on a PS4 or Xbox One level. You can't, at least without having the price tag, be a lot greater than what the Switch is, or even these. The Switch has its own pretty decent price tag, but if you were to try to sell that for $500-$600, you wouldn't be able to push it off the shelves. So I didn't want to get stuck on the Switch for as long as I am, but I kind of thought about it in a couple different ways, and I did want to comment on it in those ways. I think Nintendo has an uphill battle. The marketing seemed good, but I haven't really seen Switch advertisements on that much. I don't really consume mainstream television, but I haven't seen Switch advertisements on just regular ads and what have you. And this is, like I said, I'm the target market, or one of the target markets. So it's interesting. And I also, like I said, I haven't seen it in my social media circle that the Switch is what everybody's excited about either. So we'll see. We'll see what Nintendo does. And like I said, I hope that it makes Sony and Microsoft think about portables in their future, because I think the portables are here to stay. Nintendo has always done the portable well since my childhood, and I think they're here to stay. It's just, can we bridge the gap between portable and home consoles? And that's obviously the point of the Switch, but can the other two do it? Because I think if Microsoft did, and I think if Sony did too, if we actually had another generation of the PlayStation Portable or Vita, and then Microsoft also entered that space too, I think we could have some very interesting portable consoles. I think it would be really good for the industry too. All right. All that being said, the thing I'm most excited for is actually coming out tomorrow. It's Horizon Zero Dawn. I'm excited for the Switch and its launch, but like I said, I'm probably not buying it. At least initially. So I'm excited for Horizon Zero Dawn because it will exist, and not to say that the Switch won't exist, but Horizon Zero Dawn will exist in my life day one. It's been something that I tried not to watch too many trailers for, but then I saw trailers for it. Sony obviously had Guerrilla market this game in such a way that, not to give too much away, and this is not going to be, there's going to be no spoilers here either. I have not myself encountered any spoilers, and I'm glad I haven't. But I've watched as little trailer content as possible, and haven't really read reviews other than spoiler-free reviews or ratings. And ratings can be hit or miss. I'm very well aware of that. I am personally somebody that loves a lot of every genre of movies, music, video games. I kind of am very accepting of all of the different styles for the most part. So I saw Horizon Zero Dawn at first, and I was like, this could just be an open world, Assassin's Creed-esque game. Not that those haven't been games that I've loved in the past. It could just be the same thing over and over. But then, as I saw trailers and as I saw the kind of design behind the game, I was just it seems to be living up to everybody's expectations. So this is something I'm going in with medium to high expectations, and a lot of reviews are as well because of the way it's been marketed. Even though they haven't marketed too much of the story, the visual, the graphic side, people have said it's pretty consistent on the PS4, and the 4K version of it on the PS4 Pro is very very beautiful. I've seen some footage on both, and it looks, at least on a 1080p screen that I'd be viewing it on, indistinguishable from one another, which would make sense. I'm not viewing any of this content on a 4K screen, and it's I have a PS4, so I'm not going to be experiencing the Pro experience. But like I said, people have said it still runs exceptionally well on the regular old quote unquote PS4, which is good. Because a good example is The Last Guardian didn't. The Last Guardian had frame rate dips that were very noticeable while I played through that game. And that was a game that I finished up here a few weeks back. And I enjoyed that. That's why this kind of thing is hard. I think this is going to be good for Guerrilla. I think that Horizon Zero Dawn is going to be the their first third person game that they do. It's going to be successful for them. This is obviously not coming from a reviewer of games, but a person that's played them. I've liked Killzone games, but never loved them. They never were, oh man, this changes first person shooters. They were good, and they also had to live up to expectations where they were one of the ones that showed off footage at E03 that, if you remember, looked incredible. Looked at the time better than movie CGI. And then we got the game and we're like, what happened here? I mean, it still looks good, but why did we get shown that? And then we got this game. So this is the opposite of that. We're finally getting to that point where we see some of it's in game and some of it's trailer and, rendered, pre-rendered. But then you see it and they don't look extremely different from one another, which is hard to accomplish. The either transition from cutscene to gameplay. There's been obviously games that do a really good job of this in more recent memory, but it used to be like when you're on the PlayStation 1 and PlayStation 2, you're like, well, okay, we're in a cutscene, and now we're in gameplay. It was very, very, very dramatic difference in quality. But now I feel like with Horizon Zero Dawn, and I feel like I want to do something. Let me know in the comments, and let me know on social media if you want to see gameplay from me and or commentary and or just, first impressions of Horizon Zero Dawn. Maybe I'll do something that's non-spoiler related so you can get a glimpse into the game if you have a PlayStation and it's something you've even considered buying. That's one of the things. At first, it was something I just considered. I was like, I'll play that. Or I'll play. It was another kind of a lot of the Ubisoft titles. I'll play that when it's on sale. When it comes down to $20-$30. And then everything, they released a few more trailers and some gameplay, and then I read reviews, and I was like, everything is good about this game, basically. Everything around it is good. Not that there aren't some people saying that we don't need any more open world games, which I get, but we do need open world games that are made well, that have good stories behind them. I always tie a lot of these things that I talk about because of, obviously, my Rockstar Games, I don't want to say heritage. That's not the right word for it. But how much I love Rockstar Games and their open world games. We need more companies to make games we need more games like what Rockstar, I'm not saying companies exactly, because Rockstar's not perfect. I don't think any video game company is. It's just they have been successful, extremely successful up to this point with open world games. And the stories, for the most part, have been very well written, acted, and directed, and everything. They are, some of them are, movie quality, and some of the stories that you can remember years after playing those games, which is sometimes hard to do. There's a lot. I mean, a good example would be with me in Assassin's Creed. Some people are going to disagree with me on this, but Assassin's Creed is throwaway to me almost. I actually enjoyed the first couple games. for the most part, the rest of it's throwaway. And a lot of the stories that I played through, and I was just like, after I was done with it, I was like, okay, that was a pretty good gameplay. Good, visual. The graphics were good at the time, but nothing has stayed with me to this day. And then they made a movie based on the property that didn't receive critical or monetary success. So I don't know. Like I said, though, I hope Guerrilla Games, I hope they sell what it looks like they could sell with Horizon Zero Dawn. I hope it's, as some people are calling it, one of Sony's best platform exclusives, aside The Last of Us and Drake's Uncharted. But that's the thing. Two of those are both made by Naughty Dog. And Guerrilla is, a first party publisher and game studio for Sony. So I hope it is as successful as it looks like it will be. I hope it's as good as a game as expectations for a lot of people are going in. And like I said, if you want an impressions video, and maybe this will be my next Zach Talks. I don't know. I don't know what Zach Talks will really be over time. I feel like I can use it to talk about my opinions on video games, but I'd like to use it for some other things too. I also I use my regular gaming channel to show you off gameplay footage. I feel like more appropriate. But let me know in the comment section of whatever you're listening, watching this on. Let me know if it's something you want to see. I'm excited, super excited for Horizon Zero Dawn. Tell me if you're excited for Switch. Tell me if you're picking up one. And until the next one, guys, I'll see you later.